Greg Abbott has stirred up a hornet's nest. He is busing illegal aliens to New York and Washington, D.C. The mayor of New York, Eric Adams, has condemned, according to Politico, Texas Governor Greg Abbott on Sunday for sending buses of supposed asylum seekers to New York City, some of them against their will. This is horrific when you think about what the governor's doing, Adams said in an early morning visit to the Port Authority bus terminal, where he was greeting a bus transporting arriving migrants. Notice they won't say illegal aliens. The Republican Texas governor announced on Friday he was sending buses of migrants to New York. Adams, a moderate Democrat, has been charging for weeks the state was sending asylum seekers to New York, overwhelming the city's homeless shelters. Adams said migrants were being forced onto buses, even if they wanted to go elsewhere. Texas's governor has a state overrun by illegal aliens and a president who is unwilling to secure the border. So he is loading illegal immigrants on buses and sending them to New York and Washington, D.C., where the media and the policymakers live so they can experience what Texas is experiencing. And those Democrats are crying foul over it. They would rather they leave them in Texas. Where do you think Texas got the idea to send illegal aliens to New York and Washington? I give you a news story from WGXA News. That is a local news station in Macon, Georgia. From November 5th, 2019. New York City is relocating its homeless population in an effort to reduce the record number of homeless people. Mayor Bill de Blasio's administration has paid 2,300 homeless New Yorkers to move out of the city over the past year and a half. The report from the New York Post shows 2 exit points for participants in the program called the Special One-Time Assistance Program. Macon, Georgia, and Warner Robins, Georgia, about 30 minutes from Macon. WGXA News spoke to residents of Macon to see what they thought about this. Many felt relocating homeless to other cities wouldn't solve the problem. So New York started sending homeless people to Middle Georgia back in 2019. The national media did not really cover it, but the city of New York was busing homeless people to Middle Georgia, Macon, Georgia, the geographic center of the state of Georgia. Warner Robins, a military town south of Macon, were receiving an influx of homeless people from New York City. The media nationally didn't say anything. The governor of Texas is now busing illegal aliens to New York and Washington, D.C., and the national media thinks it's the biggest story of the year. The national media and the local Democratic politicians in New York and Washington, D.C. are screaming about it. How dare Greg Abbott do this? All he's doing is what they did. All he's doing, they started it. They came up with a precedent. They came up with the idea. Blame them. But no, the media didn't want to cover any of that. But they want to cover this. Here's the thing. Why should Texas have to keep up with illegal aliens? Why should Texas have to do it? They're not getting any support from the federal government. The federal government could go secure the border, and they're not doing it. This past weekend, when the Senate was passing the Trump-Schaefer inflation plan to raise taxes made possible by the chairman of the Republican Party in Georgia, the Republicans offered an amendment. It would prohibit the federal government from increasing the number of IRS agents until the number of border agents were increased. Democrats killed the plan. Democrats want to hire 87,000 IRS agents is the final number. But they don't want to hire any extra people at the border. And then they are upset when Greg Abbott buses those illegal immigrants to New York and Washington so the policymakers and the media can see for themselves what it's like. Good for Greg Abbott for doing it. They should be sending more than they are.